Yep. Okay. So I don't know if you heard some of the people leaving saying that they enjoy trying something new today. You're going to be trying something new today too, even though they had more of an emphasis on it that you're going to get. You're just going to get a little taste of it, but it's something called Kemetic Yoga. And I'll tell you how I discovered Kemetic Yoga. There used to be the Yoga Society of Nashville. It started in the 1970s and it was around, it's still around, but they're not as active anymore. And right before I took over Half Moon Yoga, however many years ago, I had been a board member for that society for like 6 years. And that society was formed as a way to help to get yoga into the community, keep people interested in yoga or to be introduced to yoga. They would do free yoga festivals, different areas around Nashville, and then have different teachers coming in from different styles to participate. And it was before Small World Yoga was around. Small World Yoga has since kind of taken over that, and they go into hospitals, they go into prisons, they go into like safe shelters for women and children, and they're teaching them these skills, these tools and techniques so that they can, you know, help heal themselves and live a happier, healthier lifestyle. Well, back when the Yoga Society was doing these festivals, I'd gone to one at Spirit Bennett. And they had a list of all the different teachers and styles that were going to be happening in different rooms. And I saw this thing called Kemetic Yoga, and it was the only thing on the list I'd never heard of. And I was like, I'm going to that. And I went to that, and the teacher was this beautiful African American woman who actually at one time had been a student of mine during my pregnancy, so a long time ago. And she was discussing at the very beginning of the class that Kemetic Yoga is a form of Egyptian yoga. And in that style of Egyptian yoga, they believe that the origin of yoga actually stems from Egypt and not India. I'm a firm believer it's India because it's so embedded in that culture, the teachings, the philosophy, all of it. But anyway, neither here nor there. It's still fascinating of why they think that yoga's origin was Egypt, and they look at the hieroglyphics. So looking at the hieroglyphics, they see certain positions that look similar to yogic poses. And that's where they get kind of their idea from. So anyway, I'm going to teach you a little taste of the Kemetic Yoga today. After we do our warm-ups and after we get up to stand, I'll tell you when we're starting it, and you'll notice the difference. But since we're talking about Kemetic Yoga today, I didn't plan this, but it worked out perfectly. Someone's alarm.
Somebody called. No, checking that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay. What color car was it?
It was black car. Big car.
Is it across the street?
Across the street.
I think they just turned it off. So we just had these solar flares, massive solar flares coming. I don't know if you got to see the lights. I didn't. I was inside. I was bummed. I tried the next day. Didn't see them. But I was actually inspired not by the solar flares, but by hearing this talk from a gentleman talking about a book called The Law of One. And The Law of One is a book where a woman channels Ra. And so the book is basically saying all is love and light is one, and that one is the creator. And basically, I haven't read the book, but that's the synopsis of the book. And the teaching of Ra is know thyself, love thyself, and create. And that ties in with yoga because in yoga we talk about swadhyaya, which is getting to know yourself at a really intimate level, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, all of it. So that know thyself is a part of yoga. And the second one, love thyself. And we've been told even in biblical scriptures, love thy neighbor as thyself. But isn't it funny how a lot of us lack that ability to really look at ourselves and to really love ourselves? It's something that I've been working on since my 40s. Unfortunately, I feel like a lot of people begin later in life to try to love themselves, but that is an aspect of yoga because we're peeling away the layers of conditioning and ideology and the old beliefs and the old ways to find that beauty that is within. And then of course the create piece, well, we're always talking about waking up our creative juices at the sacral center. That's the Kundalini Shakti. That dormant energy is the creative life force. And so all of yoga is about getting those creative juices really flowing inside. So it really lines up with the yogic philosophy. But that's Ra, who was the Egyptian god of the sun. And there was a goddess called Isis, and she was the goddess of beauty and fertility and safety. Her wings actually represented safety and protection. And it hit me over the weekend that Isis, being this very prominent character, not only in Egypt, but she was worshipped actually in a lot of places besides Egypt back in history, back in the day. And I just figured out how sad it was that whoever turned the terrorist group ISIS, why did they have to use her name? Again, it's just pushing down the divine feminine. And it just, I don't know, kind of maddened me when I thought about it. I was like, well, of course they're going to name a terrorist group after a goddess, you know? But anyway, when you look at the divine feminine, because we're about to do a trip to France next month on the divine feminine. Now, the divine feminine that we're doing is with the early Christian lineage, which believes that Mary Magdalene, Mother Mary, Martha, Lazarus, all of them escaped the persecution that was going on by the Romans, and they set sail and they happened to land at this port in France. Well, that particular port in France at that time in history was all about Ra and Isis. It was worshiping Egyptian gods and goddesses. And there is this Black Madonna located in one of the churches there that gets adorned with these beautiful ornate clothes. She's paraded through the streets. She's taken out at least once a year to the sea and washed and brought back, which is all Hindu rituals. That's actually Hindu rituals. And her name is Sarah Lakali. And something in my research that I discovered was some people in France think, oh, well, Sarah Lakali, she represented the queen or the aristocrat who was in charge of that area at that time, who would meet people and then allow people to come in and mix in with the culture. Some of the other lore says, oh no, she was a servant. She was either a servant that was already there that helped them, or it was a servant that they brought with them. And then there's another lore that says, no, the Black Madonna, Sarah, is actually the child of Jesus and Mary Magdalene. Now, I find it interesting because if you look at Sarah Lakali, Sarah could be short for Saraswati, which is the goddess of wisdom and knowledge and books and arts. And then you have La, which could be short for Lakshmi, which is the goddess of abundance and prosperity, beauty, fertility. And then Kali, the goddess of death, time, transformation, and rebirthing. Basically, it's the trilogy of the goddesses in Hinduism. So to me, I look at this and I'm like, ooh, this is really a hodgepodge of a bunch of cultures and religions kind of pulling together. It's just fascinating. So anyway, we're going to do a little Kemetic Yoga, and we're going to start on our backs, but I need you to please have a block next to you. And when you come down to your back, go ahead and have your knees bent, because that can cater to your low back and it'll set us up for the first pose that we'll get into. Now the knees can be separated here, or you can bring them together if that feels better. Either way, you can experiment. And then I want you to look up for a moment. You're going to place your hands together, thumb and index fingers, so that you're creating the shape of a triangular pyramid. This is going to be our pyramid today. And you're gonna place it right at where the thumbs come right below your belly button. And the index fingers are kind of pointed down towards the pubic bone. And you're just gonna rest your hands here as you close your eyes and develop a deep yogic breath. And so this place that you're allowing your hands to rest is the sacral chakra. We often refer to this area as being like the womb. And as you're breathing in and out through your nose, feel your belly ballooning and rising up to meet your hands. On the inhale, and feel that belly deflating and pulling back from the hands on the exhale. So this area is considered the place where the Kundalini Shakti, that dormant energy, is awaiting to be awakened, utilized for creative ideas or anything we're trying to birth in our lives. Now that you've been receiving some deep diaphragmatic breaths, ensure that your heels are located underneath your knees. Your toes are pointed straight ahead. Let your arms slip away beside you where the palms are face down. And then plug the feet into the earth and circle the arms up overhead as you ignite your hamstrings and glute muscles, back muscles to rise into a bridge pose. And then as you exhale, gently lower down one vertebra at a time, carrying the arms with you, and see if your sacrum can land simultaneously with your hands. And then inhale, lifting right back up, Setu Bandhasana, arms alongside your ears. And as you exhale, lowering down with control. So on your inhale, feel the strength in the engagement of your muscles in your back body, giving the promotion of opening up the front body. As you exhale, rely on your hamstrings, glutes, and core to lower down. And then continue this with repetition. Let the breath help you to synchronize the movement with the breath. Let's do two more. This time when you lift, bring your arms around, keep your buttocks off the floor, grab that block, slide it under the low back so that you can literally sit upon that prop. Make sure it's in a good spot. And now with your eyes closed, just experience that belly lifting on the inhale, spilling down on the exhale. See if you can feel that movement in your chest as well. Letting the chest kind of lift up towards the chin as you breathe in. Letting it soften as you breathe out. Now on your next inhalation, let's extend the left leg skyward and you're pointing that foot. And as you're reaching upward with the toes, feel that stretch in the front part of your ankle and the muscles kind of hugging around your shin. And on your exhale, you're going to pump the heel up and feel the stretch in the back of the ankle working down your calf muscles. Then inhale, points.
Exhale, flex the ankle. Inhale, point. Exhale, flex. Good, now rotate your foot, circling it around 3 to 5 times. And then the other direction. Now slowly keep that left leg extended, but lower it towards the mat. So that your right knee's bent, your left leg is straight. And once you let that left heel and soften into the block, receiving that stretch through that front of the left hip. If that upsets your low back, or if you feel impingement in your SI joints, then please rebend the left. Don't stay if it causes any pain. No pain, no gain does not apply to the yoga practice. Now slide your left foot back. We'll do the same on the other side. So uplift your right leg and point the toe. Be here and really feel that work. Notice how just pointing the foot can activate muscles through the leg, which is why it's so important when we're standing to utilize action in feet. Now flex the foot, push up through the heel, spread open through your toes. Feel that effect. What it targets, and then pointing on the inhale and flexing on the exhale, doing that again. And then circling the foot. So when the legs are lifted up in the air, it's also good for our circulation. It's good for draining lymphatic tissues in the lower body. And reverse that circling. It also could be a little sedative for the mind, nervous system. All right, now slowly bring that right leg down. Soften your muscles once it lands and just kind of relax here in this shape. Fully and completely. When you're ready, walk your right foot back. Tuck and lift away from the block, squeeze the buttocks, slide the block away, and roll it down one vertebra at a time. Now that your sacrum's anchored to the floor, pick up your feet, hug the knees in. This is Apanasana, wind release pose. A nice counter after the back bending. All right, now take your hands to the tops of the knees. Straighten your arms so that the knees are lining up right above the rim of the pelvis. So right when you kind of push the knees away, separate your arms into like a T shape, palms open to the sky. You're going to let your knees wobble about 6 to 8 inches over to the left. And then you're going to bring the knees back up and carry them 6 to 8 inches over to the right. And you're going to continue this, wobbling the knees, leaning left, and taking them back through the middle and leaning them to the right. So I want you to feel you're not only getting a twist, but it's helping to massage the glute muscles, especially that piriformis muscle. And that's a muscle that's tiny and it gets really tight for most of us, whether we're overactive or underactive. And then once you continue this rocking the knees back and forth, you're slowly going to make this angle wider, meaning you can go beyond the 6 and 8 inches to 10, 12 inches away from the middle. And you're going in a slow pace, so it's like your inhale, bringing the knees back, and then exhale, taking them over to one side. And now start to barely hover the knees and feet. So you're almost going fully into that twist. And the next time you carry the knees over to the left, go ahead and let the knees and feet land and rest. But notice how once you send the knees over, check in with your right shoulder. If it really gets elevated away from the floor and it's too much of a stretch, you can angle the arm lower, more like a A-frame position. Or you're welcome to bring a blanket and stuff up underneath. Now, close your eyes and focus on your breath. And feel the wave sensation of the breath rolling from the right side of the belly towards that right shoulder. On your next inhale, let's go ahead and draw in through the core. And send the legs over to the opposite side. Again, letting the feet and knees land. And just lounging in this twist that can provide so much for our endocrine system, our digestive system, skeletal, and muscular. But what I want you to consider now is the idea of the chakras, these energy centers in the body. The main one begins at the base of the spine and moving up to the crown of the head. And how these qualities or attributes of the chakras can represent the feminine or the masculine. I tend to look at the odd numbers as being more masculine and the even numbers more feminine. Even though that heart chakra has that triangle or pyramid lifting up as well as down. On your next inhalation, let's go ahead and draw the knees back to center. And you're going to separate your legs and float your feet in the air with your knees bent. And then your arms are going to lift up, but your wrists are going to be limp. And we're doing Jumbagasana, not a happy baby. So Jumbagasana is where we shimmy and shake the hands, shimmy and shake the feet. We're bending the elbows, we're bending the knees. I call it Jumbagasana because I think about the June bugs getting flipped to their back. They're trying so hard to go upright again. But this is pretty good for our joints. Shake, shake, shake. A little bit more. 3, 2, 1. And then I want you to sprawl out into a wide X shape. When you sprawl out, keep your eyes shut, and I want you to feel that spark or flow of energy within. Feel how your vibration changed. And then let's bend the knees. Now let's roll to the right side. Reach down with your left hand and come up to stand. So we're going to do a couple of flows. You may want both blocks in the front side of your mat now.
couple flows from standing that you already are familiar with. And then we'll start the Kemetic Yoga, which is a little different. So once you have your block set up and your feet aligned, brought back and forth on the feet, so you really get the feet conditioned into your mat. And then bring your hands to prayer position at your heart. And then on your inhale, sweep the arms to your sides and up and take a hold of your left wrist. Inhale, really lengthen your left side body and exhale forward to the right. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, swap your hand hold. Inhale, accentuate the length on the right. And then exhale, lean to your left. Inhale, come out of Chandrasana. And as you exhale, you're going to bend your knees and you're just going to bring the hands down. They can tap the floor or not, yogi's choice. And then inhale, lift your arms straight up to Utkatasana, your chair position. And then exhale, hands to prayer. All right, we're going to do that again. Inhale, take your arms wide and overhead. Wrap your right fingertips around your left wrist. Lengthen on the inhale, curve on the exhale. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, swap your hand hold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, Chandrasana. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, knees bend. And it's okay if your hands can't touch the floor. It's not the goal here. Inhale, lift the arms up, Utkatasana. And exhale, hands to prayer, straighten your legs. One more of those, power of 3. Inhale, arm circle wide enough. Hold your left hand. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, lean right. Inhale, come back to the top, swap your hand hold on the exhale. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, lean to the left. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, bend the knees. Bring the hands down. Inhale, build up Utkatasana. And then exhale, straighten your legs, hands to prayer. Awesome. Inhale, let your arms circle wide and overhead. Exhale, swan dive forward and down to Uttanasana. So you can have your hands to blocks if you want, or you can freestyle and just pour down. Inhale, come halfway up, hands slide up the leg bones. Look out with your eyes, and then exhale, roll back in. Inhale, coming all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. We're going to do 2 more half sun souths. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, bow out. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, hands to prayer. One more for 3. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. In and halfway lift. Out and lower down. In and all the way up. Out, hands return to the heart. Okay. Now we get to try some Kemetic Yoga. So our hands are going to begin in prayer. And sorry, Mary, you're going to be the leader for a little bit. You want me to? Inhale, your arms open wide. Exhale, left hand in front of the navel, right hand in front of that. Good. Inhale, lift. Exhale, turn to your right. Now, Mary, you're the leader. Inhale, separate your hands wide. Exhale, you're only turning your head, looking over the left shoulder. Inhale, chin comes back in line with your chest. Good. Exhale, turn your head and look over the back shoulder. Good. Inhale, chin in line with the chest. Bring your arms into the goddess arms. Stay there. Exhale, turn your gaze over the left shoulder. Inhale, head to the middle. Exhale, head turns right. Inhale, head to the middle. Stay in the twist, but lower your left hand in front of your navel. Good. Exhale, unwind, and bring the right hand down. Okay.
Inhale, stretch your arms out. Exhale, right hand in front of the belly, left hand in front of that. Inhale, stand tall. Exhale, twist to the left. Same idea. Inhale, stay in the twist, but open your wingspan, representing safety, protection. Exhale, gaze over the right shoulder. Inhale, chin in line with chest. Exhale, look over the back shoulder. Inhale, chin in line with your chest. Bring your arms into the goddess arms. And exhale, gaze right. Inhale, chin in line with your chest. Exhale, look over the back shoulder. Inhale, head turns back. And lower the right hand in front of your navel. And unwind from the twist. And bring the hand down. All right. Inhale, separate your arms nice and wide. Exhale, left hand in front of the belly, right hand in front of that. It doesn't change with repetition. Inhale, lift. Exhale, spin to the right. Inhale, open your arms. Exhale, look back. Inhale, gaze at the windows. Exhale, look to the front. Inhale to the windows and bend your elbows, goddess arms. Exhale, look over the left shoulder. Inhale, chin in line with chest. Exhale to the back arm. Inhale, chin in line with chest. Bring your left hand in front of the belly. Bring your right hand in front of that and unwind from your twist. Good. Inhale, separate your arms. Exhale, right hand in front of the navel. Left hand in front of that. Inhale, keep your spine elongated and twist to your left. Inhale, expand your arms. Exhale, look over the front hand. Inhale, chin in line with chest. Exhale, look to the back hand. Inhale, look to the side wall, bend the elbows. Goddess. Exhale, look over the right arm. Inhale, head turns halfway. Exhale, then to the left. Inhale, look at the side wall. Exhale, right hand in front of the navel. Inhale, unwind. Exhale, hand down in front. Awesome. That's a little Kemetic Yoga. Now, we got more. We're going to take our hands to create that pyramid. Okay? And the hands are going to be down, kind of in front of the legs. As we inhale, the hands come up and come together about in front of the brow so that the arms separate and we're looking through the pyramid, right? Just felt like an Egyptian. All right, from here, turn your hands back out, lift the arms overhead. Uttanasana is done differently. We pull that navel in and it's like we're diving off a cliff into Uttanasana. Now, don't worry about this. If your hands can be flat to the floor, you're making a pyramid. If your hands can't be flat to the floor, you're pulling in the blocks. Remember, they turn different heights, and you're going to create that pyramid with your palms flat. So yeah, use the props if you need to. Bow your head in. On your next inhale, we're going to step that left foot way back. We're going to descend the back knee, chin, foot. We're going to lace the arms up underneath that front thigh. And then as we inhale, we're pushing through the right foot. We're coming up to create the pyramid overhead. Good. From here, we bring the hands to the knee. You're going to shift the knee forward, drop the hips down, loop the shoulders back and arch back. And then as you exhale, you're coming forward, chest over knee, hands to the ground, curl the back toes, step into downward facing dog. Now from your downward facing dog position, I want you to notice the shape of your body. In the West, we call it down dog. In India, they reference it as mountain pose. For today, we're going to call it another pyramid. pose. Feel that shape that you're creating with your body. Think about how mysterious the pyramids are. And they're not just in Egypt, they're all over the world. Think about the hidden corridors and the hidden treasures within. That's within yourself too. On your next out breath, we're coming down to the knees. We're untucking the toes. We're bringing the forearms back. And your head is up. This is Kemetic Yoga's version of Sphinx pose. Very different than our Sphinx pose, where we're laid out on the belly and the legs are back behind us. You are still pushing down to the forearms and trying to elongate your neck, giving a little lift to the breastbone. Find that proper angle for your head and neck that will work well for you, that doesn't cause any strain. And breathe. All right, from here, stretch your arms out. Keep your head up. Rock up to hands and knees. Curl the toes under. Take downward facing dog. Let your head go between the arms. The eyes can be open here. And then yogi's choice. You can step the left foot all the way forward, or you can come down to the knees and then swing that left foot around in front. So coming down the knees is a little simpler, more manageable. You want the knee aligned over the ankle, and then we're gonna cup the arms up underneath. We'll inhale, bring it back up with the pyramid over the head. Thumbs, index fingers touching. And then exhale, bring the hands to the knees, and then you'll shift that thigh and knee forward as you spill the hips down and spill the head back. And then we're gonna come forward, chest to knee, hands to the floor, curl the back toes, step up to the front, drop down into Uttanasana and form your pyramid, palms to the ground or to the props. And then inhale, bringing it all the way up. Pyramid over the crown. Exhale, bringing that pyramid down in front of the legs. Good, bringing it back up in front of the brow, palms together. Create that pyramid shape with your arms to look through. And then we end, knees bent, hands to heart. Isn't that kind of fun? It's different. All right, straighten out your legs. All right, we are going to have the blocks beside the feet just because it's gentle. It'll be a little easier to set back. If you have your blanket there, that's fine. Just be careful you don't trip over it. So let's go ahead and, well, let's do it the Kemetic way. Pyramid. Inhale, lift the pyramid overhead. Exhale, you're going to pull the navel in and dive over. Uttanasana. Take your hands to your blocks. Step the right foot back. Turn that foot out. And then float your hands to come up. Okay, so this is the setup. Look at your back foot. The toes are turned out, but not especially wide yet, because I need your hips to be square facing the front. We're going to take that pyramid and we're lifting it up. We're actually going to go into pyramid pose just in the Kemetic Yoga way. So the pyramid's overhead, we pull the navel in and we dive over like we did with Uttanasana. You can obviously use blocks here since they're available. But affirm, I'm giving myself over into the flow of grace. Last week, our theme was about transitions and meeting transitions in life with intention, grace, and acceptance. Notice how the transitions in this style of yoga are different. Inhale, plug down that front foot, and build yourself back up. And as you exhale, you're gonna turn your torso, but turn your right foot as well. And you're gonna separate your arms to create the goddess arms. Good, exhale, turn your head over the left shoulder. Inhale, head turns to the middle. Exhale, turn your gaze over the back shoulder. Inhale, face the middle. Good, stretch your arms to your sides, come on down, triangle, pouring the left hand down to the block or shin, and the right arm is overhead. Affirming energy and joy flow down to me. Inhale, pulling yourself back up, still facing the windows, but creating your goddess arms. Bring your left hand in front of your belly. Spin your right toes as you turn your right hip to face the front of the room. All right, so you can see the similarities here. Now I want to go look at some hieroglyphics. Didn't you just go to Egypt this past year, Patty?
The year before. Year before.
Do you remember anything like this in hieroglyphics?
There was a lot.
There was too many to look
There was
at.
too much there.
All right, lunge the knee, bring the hands down. I'll back foot steps forward. Left foot steps back. I think we should all go to Egypt. Patty, you can be our guide.
Yeah.
You've already been.
I remember like,
And then float the hands up. Bring the pyramid over the top of the head. Exhale, dive over. And then feel free to separate your hands and bring them to blocks if you need to. If your hands come flat to the floor, pyramid, and you can let go of it all together if you want. Kind of squeezing and tucking the right seat towards you. Know thyself, love thyself, and create. All right, press down to the right foot, inhale, coming up. Now exhale, let's turn the left foot as we spin the trunk and create the goddess arms. And then exhale, look over the front arm. Inhale, turn the head to center, exhale to the left. Inhale, head turns, arms straighten out. Exhale, Trikonasana. Energy and joy flow down to me. Inhale, draw up through the left hand. Bring the goddess arms back into play. Send the right hand in front of the navel. Turn your left toes to stay safe in your back knee as you spin your left hip to face the front. Awesome. All right. Lunge the knee, bring the hand to the blocks, wiggle the back toes. All right, I'm not gonna put you into the next pose the same way I put in the last group because it's not as gentle. So I want you to bring the back knee down, bring both your blocks with you as you slide your right foot back, because you're either gonna sit on one or two blocks. And then I just realized we really need the left foot in front and the right shin down. Sorry about that. You can do it from here though. It's like, ooh, ooh, ooh. Just be careful. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, I did the wrong leg. I want us to twist right first. It really doesn't matter too much. If it's too difficult to sit on a block, you are going to be doing this from half lunge, okay? That's some even more gentle way of doing it. All right, here we go. Hands to prayer. This is already the first pose. And I've done this pose with you guys before, but I didn't know it had a name. And it's the pose of immortality. And if you think about the Egyptian culture, you know, the lotus flower represents immortality.
And they have depictions of like the river that they pass through to move into the afterlife. And in yoga, they talk about this elixir of immortality that the gods and the demons would fight over. All right, we're gonna lift the hands up to the brow and keep the arms separated so you're looking through the pyramid. And then we're gonna move into goddess pose, which is bringing the hands back down, and you're gonna turn to your right. You got it. Now guess what? We get to inhale, stretch out the arms. Amy's like, I got it. Exhale, turn the gaze over the left shoulder. Isn't it interesting how they do so much network? Inhale, head turns to middle. Exhale, turn the gaze over the right shoulder. I was surprised when I went to India how much network they did. Bring the head to center, and then the goddess arms. Gaze over the left shoulder. Inhale, head to middle. Exhale, gaze to the right. Good. Inhale, head to middle. Then bring the hands to prayer. Unwind. Pose of immortality. Good. Now, the last group, we came up to stand and then had a fancy way of coming down. That's not gentle. So you can come forward to your hands and knees to swap sides if that's a better way of doing it. One block or two, you may not need any. If you feel like 2 is not enough, you're going to do it from a half lunge. Take your time. Good. Hands to prayer. And then lift the hands at your third eye. Look through the shape of the arms. Pose of immortality. One more funny thing about India. Remember when I came back from India? Those of you that were here, there was water in the rooms, and it was supposed to be filtered Ganges river water, which is like the holy river. But it said, drink of immorality. Instead of drink of immortality. Just that one letter changes the whole meaning, right? Hands to prayer. Spin to your left. Inhale, stretch out your arms. There's a beautiful hieroglyphic of this. I have seen that. Turn your gaze over the right shoulder. Inhale, head to center. Exhale, look over the left. Inhale, head to center. Bring the goddess arms in. Gaze over the right. Back to middle. Then to your left. Then to center. Hands to prayer. Turn back. Pose of immortality. Good. We're going to shift forward. Release the blocks. Come back to our shins. So that we can land in the Kemetic Yoga form of Sphinx pose. And if this doesn't work for your knees, Trisha, you can do the regular Sphinx if that's better. Yeah, legs straight is fine. Good, we're gonna circle one arm around the body, the other arm around the body, and drape down to the brow. And as a reminder, child's pose, when done this way, in this format, is also considered an inversion. The heart is higher than the head. On your next inhale, you're gently going to come up. And you're going to lean over to one hip. And bring your feet into a cross-legged position. Now I want you to bring your hands into that pyramid and have it kind of sit here at your brow as a representation of know thyself. And then bring the same formation down to your heart, palms facing forward. This represents the masculine. And then flip it to represent the feminine. Love thyself. And then keep it flipped this way and bring it down to the area where the Kundalini would reside or create. And while you're sitting up, you can decide what restorative pose do you want to rest. So if, for instance, you wanted, say, a slide, you could stack up the bolster and blocks and be in kind of like a recliner here. If you feel like you want some elevation for your legs, you could stack it like Stonehenge and be here flat on your back, or you could do a restorative back bend. So you can decide what you need today. Take your time getting settled because I am going to give you some guided imagery and suggestions for your meditation. I'm gonna slide to you. Feel free to use a towel if you grab one, to cover your eyes if you'd like. But I did dim the lights as well. Body settling into the pose, and as your breath is slowing down. Notice how much more the mind may be clear after that physical practice. And as you gaze in and up to your mind's eye, I want you to consider who you would like to call in as an assistant. Maybe it's just your higher self. Maybe it's the angel of light, Metatron. Maybe it's something else you believe in. But whatever it is that you're calling for assistance, make sure it's to a high level of vibrational energy, a high level of love and light. And what we're going to picture is the creation of a grid, a prism of golden threads or light to make a pyramid shape over, around, through the body. So if you've ever looked at graph paper, you can picture the grid looking like that. If you know cheesecloth, you're spreading that material, seeing how porous it is, it could look similar to that. So utilize your higher self or something else to begin to lay out the base of the grid under the body, under the space you're residing, creating horizontal lines, whether it's golden laser light or golden threads. Build the foundation of the pyramid first. And let it keep moving horizontally upward, extending over the body. Shorter lines to create that geometric shape. Then you're gonna ask for the vertical lines to come down, as if it were a blessing from the heavens above. Coming from the top, settling down to the base, cutting and forming that geometric shape. If you feel like you want the diagonal lines coming in, you can ask it to come in from the right. You can ask it to come in from the left. Form this grid over you, around you, and through mind and body. back home. Deepening it slow. You invite that extra amount of energy into your system. You can begin to awaken fingers, toes. Or move in any other type of gentle way. Eventually, getting out, it's reclined position, sitting. Upright with your spine erect. And your eyelids turn down again. Feel the result of the practice. Join your hands together in prayer. Light with the knee honors and bows to the beautiful light of you. Going up today. I hope you enjoyed experimenting with something new. If you like it, then I'll implement it some other time in the future, just to review it. I also wanted you to know, I did launch 2 new retreats since I've seen you last. Stephanie Jones, a good friend of mine who used to teach at Half Moon, she has since moved to Savannah, Georgia, and she used to live in New Zealand when she was in college, but it's been a while. But anyway, she wanted me to do a retreat with her in New Zealand, so we have planned that for next February. That will be their summer, so even though it's our winter, it's their summer, so it's the perfect time to go. We're gonna stay on the northern island. We're gonna be bouncing around a little bit, going to people thermal areas, going to take mud baths, and it's gonna be out in nature. We're gonna be hitting the beaches. And then I'm also doing India again, because I loved it too much that I want to go back one more time. And it's going to be for their holy celebration, which is their festival of colors. You may have seen them happening at the Botanical Gardens in Nashville. They do it once a year now. So it's a big celebration for them. We'll be there through their International Yoga Festival. It is the birthplace of yoga. According to the narrative that I follow, it's the home of the sages. That's going to be next March. So just letting you know about those 2 in case you're interested. Otherwise, have a beautiful day.